Imagine answering the phone and hearing someone say, "Congratulations! You've been approved for a $10,000 government grant. All you have to do is pay a small fee to claim it." Sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, that's because it is. You're not alone if you've ever gotten a call, email, or even a letter in the mail promising free money from the government. These scams are everywhere, and they're designed to look and sound official, so much so that even the sharpest among us can be caught off guard. But here's the thing. The government doesn't call you out of the blue to offer free money, and they never ask you to pay fees up front to receive it. Today we're going to talk about fake government grant scams, how they work, how to spot them, and most importantly, how to protect yourself from falling victim. Because let's face it, no one wants to lose their hard-earned savings to a smooth-talking scammer. Now, the first thing you should know is that these scammers are good at what they do. They'll use official-sounding names, fake badges, and even spoof real government phone numbers to make you believe they're legitimate. They might say you've been pre-approved for a grant because of your age, your tax history, or even your good credit. And once they've got your attention, they'll pressure you to act fast, because if you take too long to think about it, you might realize it's a scam. So, how do you spot one of these fake grant offers? Well, let's start with the red flags. If someone calls you claiming to be from a government agency, whether it's the IRS, Social Security, or even a made-up federal grants department, and they say you need to pay a fee to receive your money, that's a scam. Plain and simple. The government doesn't work that way. They won't ask for your credit card number over the phone, and they certainly won't demand payment in gift cards or wire transfers. Another big warning sign? Urgency. Scammers love to create a sense of panic. They might say things like, "This offer expires today," or, "If you don't act now, someone else will take your grant money." That's just a trick to get you to hand over your money before you have time to think. Now, let's talk about how these scams actually play out. Sometimes they'll start with a phone call like I mentioned earlier. Other times you might get an official-looking letter in the mail with a check attached, only to find out later that the check is fake and you've just given the scammer access to your bank account. Or you might get an email with a link to a website that looks like a real government site, but it's actually a clever copy designed to steal your personal information. The bottom line? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But don't worry, we're just getting started. There's a lot more you need to know to stay safe, including what to do if you think you've been targeted and how to report these scams so others don't fall for them. So, let's keep going, because when it comes to protecting yourself, knowledge is your best defense. Now that we've talked about how these scammers operate and the red flags to watch for, let's dig a little deeper. Because the truth is, these criminals are always coming up with new tricks, and the more you know, the harder it'll be for them to fool you. One of their favorite tactics? Pretending to be someone you trust. They might say they're calling from the Social Security Administration or even claim to be a local government official. And they'll sound so convincing, using official titles, referencing real programs, and even giving fake badge numbers to make it seem legitimate. But here's what you need to remember. Government agencies don't call, email, or text you out of the blue asking for money or personal information. If there's ever a real issue, like a problem with your Social Security or taxes, they'll contact you by mail first with official letters on real government letterhead. Another trick they use? Fake checks. You might get a letter in the mail with what looks like a real government check, maybe for a grant, a refund, or even a prize. The scammer will tell you to deposit it and then send back part of the money for processing fees or taxes. But here's the catch, that check is fake. It might even clear at first, but weeks later your bank will figure it out, and you'll be on the hook for the full amount. That's why you should never send money to someone who sent you a check first. And let's talk about online scams for a minute. These days, a lot of these fake grant offers come through emails or pop-up ads. You might see something like, "Click here to claim your $7,000 COVID relief grant." Or, "Your federal stimulus payment is waiting, apply now." But if you click that link, you could end up on a fake website that steals your Social Security number, bank details, or even installs malware on your computer. The safest rule? Never click on links in unsolicited emails or messages. If you're not 100% sure it's real, go directly to the official government website, like ssa.gov or irs.gov, and look for information there. Now, what should you do if you think you've been targeted? First, don't panic. Scammers rely on fear and urgency, but you have the power to slow things down. Hang up the phone, delete the email, or walk away from the conversation. Then report it. You can contact the Federal Trade Commission (FTC) at reportfraud.ftc.gov or call the Social Security Administration's fraud hotline at 1-800-269-0271. The more reports they get, the better they can track these criminals and shut them down. And here's something important. You're not alone if you've been scammed. These crooks are experts at manipulating people, and it happens to thousands of folks every year. There's no shame in it. What matters is that you recognize the signs early and take steps to protect yourself moving forward. So, now that we've covered how these scams work and what to do if you encounter one, let's talk about the best ways to prevent them altogether, because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. By now, you've got a pretty good idea of how these fake government grant scams operate. But let's talk about how you can stop them before they even start. Because the best defense is a good offense, right? First, guard your personal information like gold. Your social security number, Medicare ID, bank details, these are the keys to your financial safety. Never give them out over the phone, email, or text unless you initiated the contact and you're absolutely sure who you're dealing with. If someone pressures you for this information, that's a huge red flag. Second, register your phone number on the National Do Not Call Registry, donotcall.gov. It won't stop all scam calls, but it'll cut down on a lot of them. And if you've got a smartphone, consider using call blocking apps like Namorobo or your phone carrier's scam filtering service. Every little bit helps. Third, talk about this with your friends and family. Scammers thrive on silence. They're counting on people being too embarrassed to speak up if they've been tricked. But the more we share our experiences, the harder it is for these crooks to succeed. So, if you hear about a new scam going around, tell someone. If you get a suspicious call, warn your neighbors. We're all in this together. And finally, trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. You've got a lifetime of wisdom. Use it. No legitimate government agency will ever threaten you, rush you, or demand secrecy. They do, it's a scam. So, let's wrap this up with one last thought. You have the power to outsmart these scammers. They might be sneaky, but you're smarter. You're informed. And now you're prepared. If you found this video helpful, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you or someone you know ever gotten one of these fake grant calls? What did you do? Your story could help someone else avoid the same trap. And if you'd like more tips like these, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're here to help you stay safe, savvy, and one step ahead. Thanks for watching. And remember, when it comes to your hard-earned money, if it sounds too good to be true, it always is. Stay safe out there.